Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Let's Grow podcast. And today I'm joined here by my good friend Nate Beer, the insurance pioneer. How's it going, bud?
Doing great, Matt. Thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, definitely, man. So I just want to give everybody a little bit backstory. So tell me a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
My pleasure. As he said before, my name is Nate Beer. My business is called The Insurance Pioneer. I like to keep those two things together because everybody loves a good rhyme. But I am born and raised in Richardson, Texas. Pretty much lived my whole life in kind of the same little 5 mile radius. Some people like that, some people don't. I've been very fortunate to grow up in a good area, so why would I ever want to leave? But as far as what I do, I am an independent health insurance broker. I do a little bit of everything. I do health, dental, vision. I got a little bit of life insurance that I work with, accident coverage, short-term disability. I like to joke it's the Baskin Robbins 31 flavors of insurance. You can take a scoop of whatever you need.
Awesome, man. Cool. So let's dive in. So you're born and raised in Richardson, Texas. Tell me a little bit about your story, growing up, and what kind of attracted you or brought you into insurance.
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's pretty fair if anybody out there is wondering, like, I guess to go ahead and get it out of the way, no, I did not grow up with like posters of insurance people on my wall saying like, "Hey, that's what I got to do when I grow up." It was honestly just something that I kind of fell into almost by accident. Um, my career, if you will, started. I've only ever had two jobs in my entire 27 years of life. A month out of graduating high school, I got hired as a busboy with a popular Dallas area restaurant called Taco Joint. No free ads, but they got a
Yeah.
few locations
We
around the
just opened one here in
Metroplex.
Wylie.
They did just open one in
Yeah.
Wylie, yes. I think a buddy of mine that is still with the company may even be running that one, or he may be up in the Plano location. I can never remember because they move us all. They used to move me around like crazy, so I'm not surprised that they're still doing the same thing. But
Yeah.
I actually worked at Taco Joint from the summer of 2014, having just graduated high school. Ended up being there for almost 7 years, but not all as a busboy. I started out there, ended up bartending for a good couple of years, and then last four of the company was spent in management doing a LBOE. As somebody I know used to say, a little bit of everything: kitchen, front of house, back of house, management. I wore many hats in that regard. But after about 7 years at the restaurant, I felt like I wanted to do something that was a little bit more fulfilling than providing people with quality Tex-Mex at affordable prices. So my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, Claire, she was helping me a lot with, just looking around. I mean, I did it probably like a lot of people do when they were looking for jobs. I just went on Indeed.com, punched in, I want this much a year in salary and full-time employment, and kind of let the rest take me. Ended up very close to working as a car salesman with a Hyundai dealership, but at the last second, job opportunity actually fell through. I was pretty crushed at the time, but I think long term it ended up being a good thing for me because I just kind of found my way into another interview about being, doing health insurance, starting your own brokerage, and went in with very, very little expectations, and ended up walking out of there being like, this is the job that I want. Like I said, I didn't dream of becoming a health insurance broker. That dream was kind of brought out of me, if you will, having the opportunity to help people every single day with something that we all need. Very few people actually understand. So it's just kind of a, see a need, fill a need type of thing. And probably, obviously how we got kind of put together is my number one client is people who are self-employed, folks who don't have employer insurance to fall back on. For years and years and years have been kind of, I guess, getting taken advantage of. They're like, hey, you've got way fewer options than someone who can go through their employer.
Yeah.
Most of them are very expensive. Most of them aren't great coverage. So just being able to sit down with fine folks like you and other small business owners saying, hey, what's your situation? What are you looking to get out of your health insurance? And then putting the best and most affordable options in front of that person. Not I don't like calling myself a salesman. Do I sell insurance? Yes. But at the end of the day, I'm a concierge. I'm an asset to you. Can I help you make a change if that's what you're looking for? Yes. But if you are in a great spot and no change needs to be made, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you as much.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. And so, what drives you, right, every day? Because obviously, like you said, we're in sales. We're both in sales. We help people, right? We're here to serve. But at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, sometimes it sucks, right? It's hard. And so, what drives you? What motivates you every day to wake up to do what you do?
Well, fantastic question, and definitely the day-to-day grind can be just that, a grind. It'll put you in the ground if you let it. But um, ultimately, everybody's got to have a why. I think my why, just like everybody else, is going to be my family. I am married. I just got married back at the beginning of October. So
Yep.
my
Congrats.
wife
Congrats.
Claire is a big one. Thank you. We no kids. We do have a little mini golden doodle named Quincy that we treat like a child. So he's a big part of that too. And then just the rest of my family. My parents are both in the Dallas area, so I get to see them pretty frequently. And I gained a ton of new family when I got married. I my Both of my sister-in-laws each have four children with a fifth on the way for both. So I gained 10 nieces and nephews. My wife's family is really big and lots of people. So just getting to see them, spend time with my family, and make them proud of me, doing something
Yeah.
that I love to do, that gives me the opportunity to help people and just I think that's something that we're all searching for, is leaving that legacy bigger than ourselves. When people remember Nate Beer, when people remember Matt Soto, like we're gonna think, hey, this was a guy who always put his clients, his family, always put others before himself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. So that means you're gonna have 6 kids, right, to outdo your
Oh my
siblings and
goodness.
stuff.
I
Oh
think
man,
I think
no.
we're looking to stay between the 2 and 3 range, but I know somebody in my wife's family definitely said you can't end with an odd number. So we're just gonna have to see how that one goes.
Well, there you go. Awesome, man. That's awesome. So, as an entrepreneur, right, we, like you said, it's a grind. We face these challenges. So what's one challenge that you faced in your business that, it took you a while, but you figured it out and you overcame it. So what was the challenge and then how did you overcome it?
No question. I think the first thing that comes to mind is, and it feels a little bit odd to say, like I've been in the business for, like, next 2024 will be 3 years in the business.
Okay.
And even in something like health insurance, like health insurance sales more specifically, like I've pretty much turned into a graybeard, if you will. I've watched, other folks around my office. When I first started in 2021, I was the fresh-faced rookie, and now I've got dozens and dozens of people surrounding me that they're looking at me as sort of the veteran leadership. And first of all, I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
Awesome, man.
But in terms of just the way that the way that I did things when I first started, it's like any other health insurance is such an ever-changing industry, especially when it comes to things like basic communication. I mean, something that I deal with on a day-to-day basis is just my ability to communicate with clients via like purchased internet leads. We're talking about social media, self-generating, like networking, walk and talking businesses, like all of these different ways of getting businesses. But I mean, just something as simple as like business texting. Like I have a few different platforms that I use. And really over the last maybe year and a half, there's been so many changes to the regulations and compliance that we're required to follow. You
Mm,
know, they're really just trying to separate me, like a real person trying to do my job, from some stranger in an overseas call center that's trying to like steal your banking information for some sort of scam. And so they introduce all of these different compliance regulations and training, and you have to register with your EIN number for tax purposes. It gets to be a lot at times, but just kind of having to navigate that, and at the base of it all, kind of changing how we're doing businesses. You don't want to feel like a dinosaur and you're getting left behind while all these new people are learning it how it is now and they're able to flourish. So changing with the times is so vastly important. And I mean, it's something I know we've talked about in our meetings is like if you're not willing to change, you will get left behind. So you always have to keep your ears to the ground, focus on whether it's market shifts or compliance stuff like I'm dealing with, and just being ahead of the game so that when that change happens, you're not getting left behind with everybody else. You're able to kind of take that, put those practices into effect, and use that to flourish moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. So to add on to that, like you said, you got to be ahead of the game. So what are some of the things that you pride yourself in, or how are you staying ahead of the game? Like, are you going to conferences? Are you doing trainings? Are you reading books? So how are you staying relevant to the different times and of the technology world, right? Going in, we're still improving that with AI. So, what are
Absolutely.
you doing to stay ahead of the game?
I would say it's going to be something that's very commonly used in my industry is don't be a one trick pony. You can make a life-changing income only going to networking groups and work with business owners that way. You can do the same thing purchasing internet leads or going on social media or getting out and talking with local business owners yourself. There's all these different ways to grow and succeed and create business and income for yourself. But if I'm only doing one of those things, then it's making my skills in other areas kind of tail off a little bit. So I would say probably the three biggest things that I'm doing is I am watching like training videos and successful salespeople that are putting out these practices, things that may not directly apply to what I'm doing, but at the end of the day, when you're in a sales position, it's all kind of the same. You just have to tailor it to what your industry specifically needs. Another one is going to be just getting, I think the networking group has provided a huge platform for this, is getting out with other business owners and just talking to them and seeing, hey, what are some things that you're doing successfully that I might be able to put into practice? What are some things that you've struggled with? And again, staying ahead of the game, maybe I'm sorry if that's something that you had to go through, but I might be able to learn from that and not have to go through that same struggle myself. And then probably another one sort of similar is just talking to people within my own industry. That's what I love about my company and what we do is that sales can get really cutthroat, but
Mhm.
with my company and what we do, they've got offices all over the country, and these are people that I can reach out to directly. I can say, hey, I know you're one of the best, most renowned people in the company at doing social media. So what are you doing really well that's working for you? And at the end of the day, it's the same way that we kind of work with our new agents is we're not trying to hoard all these sales secrets and tips and tricks to ourselves. It's, hey, there's enough out there for you and me. We can both eat together. So here's what I'm doing. Why don't you try this instead of what you're doing now? Do it for a week and see if you're able to get any traction from it. And if it's not working for you, hey, that's okay. We got a few other things that we can try that are going to be able to, get some success going for you.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes it, like you mentioned, our networking group together and stuff. I think that what makes our groups together, I think that's why I'm with my brokerage that I'm with in real estate is it's the collaboration, right? It's what can we do? What are you doing that I may be able to do, right? It's what was your challenge, like you mentioned, so I don't make that same mistake. How can we help each other, right? And whether it, like I said, I'm in real estate and my brokerage, real brokerage, it's that collaboration where they
Mhm.
don't view you as a competition, like, oh my God, I can't share my
It's a
number of
team.
leads
We're
versus
all
you,
part of
right?
one team. And I'm a huge sports nerd, especially baseball and football. So, like, I'll use our World Series champion Texas Rangers as an example. If, you know, Garcia's going out there and he's hitting 40 home runs and stealing 20 bags, batting 300. Like everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, look at this guy. He's doing such a great job." But if the team's losing games, if other players aren't performing, like that doesn't really benefit him. So I'm sure you get a veteran like Garcia, Semien, Seager, they're especially they're taking a rookie or a young guy, they're putting them right there in the chair next to them, and be like, hey, I'm a veteran. I know what I'm doing. See the work that I'm putting in every single day, because this is going to be something that'll help you maybe speed through that learning curve. And that's how you get a guy like an Evan Carter, like a Josh Young, who's going to be hitting the ground running from day one instead of, I mean, everybody's going to go through the ups and downs, even veterans too. But you could kind of mitigate some of those struggles by learning from people within that same industry, within that same dugout, if you will, who are doing the same thing.
Yeah, and I think that's where makes teams or players great, or even businesses. They look at, okay, what went wrong, or what did I do at my at bat? And they come back because they struck out. They look at the video and they look at themselves,
Hmm.
and they're over here analyzing everything, right? It's the same in this business. If I'm going and, cold calling 100 people, I'm door knocking, or I'm going to a networking event or whatever that is, and I didn't get any yeses, I'm I could go one or two ways, right? I can analyze what did I did, what did I say, how did I act, to be like, okay, I need to make this better. I can ask other people for that feedback, right? Hey, what did you see that I could have done better? Versus me being all with my ego and be like, these people suck or whatever it is. And that's the reason why I didn't get any business. And it's like, no, let me come and analyze what I've done and
Hmm.
improve on it, study it, and get better. Right. I mean, that's
For sure.
sports and business owners kind of are the same at that standfield, right? The successful ones are going to take that constructive feedback and build on it, and the ones who go out of business are the ones who there's egos are inside of them and stuff, and they're like, oh, it's all the public, it's everybody, it's the customers, it's not me,
Hmm.
me. Well, I mean that makes the big difference.
That's
So
that's one that I definitely hear a lot is you might get a newer person, if they're scuffling a little bit, like, oh man, it's these leads, they're just not working for me. It's the leads problem. It's they all they want to do is point fingers at someone other than themselves. And the very common expression, check out from the neck up, is like, no, I mean, these are the same leads that everybody else is getting. And there are people all over the country, not just in this office, that are closing them, that are making great money, that are doing exactly what they want to do. But I guarantee it's not because when they had one bad day, they sat there and like, yeah, this is everybody else's fault. You gotta always start with yourself and be like, am I calling them at the wrong times? Am I sounding a little bit too robotic when I'm on the phone and they don't think I'm a real person? Like there's always one thing that you can try, even a small, minute difference that can sometimes make a world of change.
oh yeah.
And the old saying, you keep doing the same thing expecting different results, that's insanity. Like, are you just gonna sit there and not make any changes and expect things to change? Or are you going to, swallow your pride a little bit, put that ego to the side, and maybe in whether you're making a change or not, it may just be as simple as asking for help, because that's how most places are. Most, when you find some place that has a team first attitude, nobody is going to be upset with you if you say, hey, I am struggling, I need help. If anything, those are the people that are going to get the most attention. And if they're able to actually commit to making those changes and figuring out what the problem is, diagnosing it and resolving, those are the people that are going to come out and have success and be able to pass that knowledge along to the next person in their same situation.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. So I know you mentioned you're 27, right? You didn't come out of high school thinking I'm going to get into insurance or whatnot, or running your own business. So what can you tell your 16-year-old self, right? Those teenagers who are watching this and hearing this, who may think that college isn't the route for them. Maybe they want to start a business. So what is something that you can tell your 16-year-old self, or those something that's led to your success today?
Oh man. For the sake of time, I will not give the full details of what I would tell my 16-year-old self. Don't go in there. No, but I would say probably the biggest thing is it's actually something that I have a somewhat strong opinion about. Is as a 16-year-old, I felt very, very pressured, not even necessarily just by my parents, but like the system as a whole. It's like there's a lot of people that say that, oh, you have to graduate high school and you have to go to that 4 year university and get that degree and apply for jobs. And it's like this whole plan that's kind of always been in place. And I learned from thankfully from a very early age that you do not have to do that. I have my mom's entire side of the family, for the most part, lives up in Massachusetts, just south of Boston. Go Red Sox! And
How you gonna
one
say
of my
go Red Sox and talk about the Rangers a little while ago? Oh man.
I'm just buttering you up, Matt. That's
Okay.
I know
Okay.
what you like. So, but my cousin, he is an electrician. And so I remember when he graduated from high school several years before I did, he was probably the first person I knew personally that decided to forego the traditional college experience, and he went to a technical school, like a vocational school. And for starters, that's how I kind of learned what that was and how you can do it. But he went to school, he became an electrician. He started off as an apprentice, and now he is I believe the term is master electrician. I don't know if he owns his own business, but he's either a business owner or somebody higher up within his company. And I guarantee you he is making probably 2 to 3 times as much income as many people that decided to go that traditional 4-year school route, racked up a bunch of student loans, and now they're working at a 9 to 5. They might even hate it, and they owe a bunch of money on those. Like it's I'm never going to fault anybody that does decide to go that route, because there's no perfect answer to how your life is going to go. But I think it's a big, I think there's a big need to kind of educate a lot of people, a lot of young people nowadays on, hey, there is a path outside of the traditional 4-year college and school and go get a W-2 job route. Maybe I don't, maybe I wouldn't say they do what I did and just start working at a restaurant and end up in management, because there was a lot of good stuff with that, but there was that was one of the probably the biggest reasons that I left, is because you think about it like this. If I go show up to the restaurant, I'm making an annual salary, I'm working this many hours a week. If I show up and I give 110% of my effort every single day, that's not going to earn me a raise. That's not going to earn me a promotion.
Mm,
I would know. I was in management for 4 years. I don't know how many times, if ever, I actually got like a real raise. But so it almost kind of breeds complacency. Like, hey, I know that I'm making the same thing whether I show up and actually try, or if I just kind of like kick my feet back and let the rest of the staff do the work, and I'm just kind of there for that.
yeah.
Once I realized that I wanted to find myself in a position where if I'm going to be the hardest working guy in the room, that I can get paid like it, then that's what kind of led me, not even necessarily to being a small business owner. That's just what took me out of the restaurant, and almost just happened upon this opportunity by accident, where now I find myself in a position as a 1099 small business owner. I love what I do. I get to talk and work with great people every single day, and also have the opportunity to make a life-changing income for me and my family. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Cool. All right, man. And so as before we wrap up, health insurance, it's not sexy, right? Like you said, everybody needs it though. Most people are uneducated. So what can you share real quick with our audience and everybody out there in the world about health insurance, and about the options that you offer and things like that?
absolutely. So this is where I am going to absolutely try to condense this down as much as possible, because I could do hours on just this subject, of course. But most of us have health insurance, and a good number of us are going to have that through our job, whether it's my W-2 job, whether it's my wife's W-2 job and she adds
Hmm.
me on. Maybe I'm on an Obamacare plan. Maybe I'm on a short-term plan. Maybe I don't like what health insurance options are available, and I am without insurance and I just like self-pay at the doctor and stuff. So for anybody that has a plan, I think the number one fastest thing I learned in this is, just because you have health insurance doesn't mean you have good health insurance. There's
Hmm.
just as many bad plans out there as good ones, if not more. And then the number two most important thing I think I learned is that everybody's, well, I should have known this already, but everybody's medical needs are different. Don't get a plan that is designed as kind of a one size fits all. If I am, I mean, okay, I'm 27. I'm generally in pretty good health. I might go to the doctor couple times a year when I'm sick. Hopefully nothing catastrophic happens where I might need to go to the hospital, but I definitely want to have it for that just in case. I go to the dentist every 3 months. I wear glasses, so I need like vision insurance. I can put together a specific package of policies for you that's going to make sure that you get the most out of your insurance. If you're like, hey, I want the lowest deductible, the best co-insurance, I want a PPO. If you want a PPO or don't have one, you should give me a call because it's not easy to get in Texas, and that's all I do. But if somebody's like, money is not an object to me. I just want the best coverage. Number one, that is my favorite type of customer. So call me right away. But number two is that I can build a plan for that person. Or if somebody just wants like, I never go to the doctor. I never get sick. I just want a catastrophic plan for the just in case. I can get a plan for that person too. And
Wow.
being able to bundle it with all sorts of different things and supplemental coverages, one price, 6 different insurances. Who doesn't want that? Oh, and for all you business owners out there that like saving money and writing things off on your taxes, you're gonna want to talk to me too, because we're gonna get that plan fully tax deductible for you.
That's awesome, right? And I think that's where everybody out there, like you said, whether we have a W-2 and we're getting insurance from our jobs, right? Or let's say we leave that and then we do go to become a 1099 contractor or a business owner, we generally sign up for those one size fits all, right? I mean, these companies that have these plans, it's the same plan for every single employee that they have, right? And
Hmm.
we don't know that you can say, hey, I'm fairly healthy, or, hey, I need these catastrophic plans and these, one offs or whatnot. And it's more affordable than it would be getting it through the company, sometimes because I came from the automotive industry and man, our plans that they offer were horrible,
Oh
they
yeah,
sucked. But I didn't know that things like what you offer existed, right? And so we just kind of take what's given to us without asking questions. We're asking help, asking experts like yourself, or hey, do I have what I have is the best, or is there something that's better that you offer me that I can save money on, or that fits my family better, and things like that. So that's awesome, man. No, I appreciate
of
you
course.
sharing that. So, how can people reach you? Like if they have questions, right? Just general questions, or they do want a quote, or whatever that looks like. How can they get a hold of you? What's the best way?
Yes. So I would say that my number one most preferred method of contact is my cell phone. Like in a lot of ways, like a realtor, like a person that you're. I want to be somebody that you trust. So I'm not giving you, this is my office line. Call my secretary and ask when you can book an appointment with me. I want to offer something that's a little bit more personal. Maybe it's my background in the restaurant industry, in the customer service industry, but just saying, hey, here's my personal cell number. You call me, you give me a text any time of day, and I'm going to be happy to get right back to you. I also, of course, have an email address. I'll probably just send all that stuff over to you so you can attach it to the podcast itself. But
Yeah, sure.
I've got phone, email. I've got a calendar booking link through a company called Setmore.
Okay.
Sort of like Calendly. I just like it because it lets me go into a little bit more depth on certain things. Um, I don't have the biggest social media profile, which is definitely something that I'm going to be working on moving into 2024. But I do have a personal Facebook page where I encourage people to reach out via Messenger or most of my contact information is on there as well.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I would just say that the biggest thing that I want to do, I always tell my clients, my number one objective is when it comes to health insurance, dental vision, and the like, my job is not to sell you a plan. My job is to make sure that when you are purchasing health insurance, using health insurance, that as much of your money is staying in your pocket as possible. So sometimes that doesn't mean changing plans. Sometimes that just means using your insurance a little bit differently. There's all these sorts of tips and tricks and hacks that I can offer you. So anyone and everyone, feel free to reach out and shoot, maybe I can save you a little bit of money.
There you go. Awesome, man. Hey, well, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to day to jump on here and educate our listeners and our audience and stuff. And so it was amazing to have you. And everybody out there, if you have health insurance or you have vision, dental, things like that, catastrophic, questions, give Nate Beer with the Insurance Pioneer a call. And I thank y'all for joining. Let's continue to grow.